morning, everyone. Today we're going to make a Christmas tree. So the supplies that we need for this are, you can just use plain white paper that you may have at home. Probably 2 pieces should be good. Scissors, you need something to cut with, glue, and then you can take your pick or use both, either crayons or markers. And also, if you have any colored paper, you can use that. I've got a red piece of construction paper, or you could just get an extra sheet of the plain white computer paper or whatever you may have at home. So the first thing we're going to do is write our name on one of the pieces of paper. If you're using a construction one, we'll write on that one. So we're going to practice, make sure to try to practice our reaching. So we're going to reach for either a crayon or marker, and we'll try to let the student too pick the color that they want. So I am reaching, I got a black marker, and I'm going to use both hands, try to pull it open, and then I'm going to write my name on the paper. I'll try to write it upside down so you guys can see. And some of you may want to have your helper write your name first, and then you can trace it, and you can do the hop-on method. You can do like hand over hand, or you can just support a little bit at the top, whatever level you may be at, or you might be writing it independently. I'm writing my name on here. There, so got my name on the back, and then I'm going to flip it over. And the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to get one of my pieces of paper, and we're going to practice, because some of you have goals to practice doing horizontal and vertical lines. So we're going to first practice our lines, and you'll have your helper draw the lines on. Move it so you guys can see. Okay. You have your helper draw the lines on. And it doesn't really matter. They can be big, they can be smaller. You guys get to pick. So then the student is going to practice tracing these lines. So we're going to start at the top, try to stay on the line. And again, you can do that, the hop-on method, hand over hand, or just supporting at the top. So right now we're practicing vertical, trying to stay on the lines, and then we're going to turn it, and we'll do horizontal, trying to stay on the lines. There, now we practice tracing our lines, and then I think I'm going to switch, because my green marker looks like it's running out. I'm going to switch to crayons. And what I'm going to do here is, and you'll probably have to have a helper to help you do this part, you're going to make almost like a staircase going down. Because these lines, we're going to end up cutting out these lines, and we want some bigger and some smaller. So we're only going to color on one side of this kind of like staircase line that I just made, which you probably have to have a helper help you with that. And then I'm going to practice coloring in all this side of the paper. And make sure too that you're practicing reaching for things. I'm just going to color it kind of fast. You guys will probably take a little bit longer coloring. So I don't want this video to be super long for you guys to watch. Make sure you're holding the paper with your other hand too, because I wasn't there for a minute and my paper was moving on me. So you need your helper hand to help you hold the paper. Okay, I mean, you can use colored pencils for this, markers, crayons. Even if you have bingo daubers at home, you could also use those and just kind of fill in as many spots as you'd like. All right, so the next thing, and some of you may need help with this too, we're gonna practice for cutting. So some of you might need your helper to do this. Some of you might be working on cutting, and if you are, then you can cut them out yourself. So I'm actually gonna do the kind of the tricky part first, the staircase. You'll see why we did it like this, because once we put our tree together, it's going to look a little better. There. You might want to have a helper do that part. That's kind of tricky. And then same thing as when we're writing, we're going to use our helper hand to help hold the paper. We're going to try to cut on the lines of the parts of our Christmas tree. A little piece there I'm going to cut off. Okay, so now I'm going to get rid of that plain piece. These parts to our tree. Then we're going to take our other piece of paper, and you're going to have either you draw or your helper draw a triangle. And then you can practice coloring it in. And always too, when you're writing, some of you, if you're not sure what hand you're more dominant in yet, all I would do is just hold it out, have your helper hold it out in front of you, and then see whatever hand the student reaches with. So I'm reaching with my right hand, so I'm gonna color it with my right hand. So we've got a triangle, and then I'm gonna switch to a brown crayon here, and I'm gonna make a square. This is gonna be our tree trunk. I'm gonna color it in. Okay, and then I'm gonna cut out my tree trunk, and the triangle, that's the top of my tree. Cut those out. And again, you may need your helper to have you help cut out. Cutting is a hard thing to do. Okay, so there's the top of my tree. Now I'm gonna take my other piece of paper, and you may have the construction paper, or you might have just a plain white piece of paper. Either one will work. I'm gonna make sure, practice, some of these glue sticks are hard to open. We gotta use both hands, practice pulling them apart. And now I'm gonna glue my pieces on my tree. So I'll start with my triangle. Gotta use both hands, hold it down, and then one with the glue stick, and triangle goes on top, and then you're gonna go by the smallest piece to the biggest piece. And that's kind of why we made that staircase. This will probably take you a little longer. I'm just doing it fast, so like I said, so my video doesn't take up all your time. Got a couple more to glue on. Oh, and you know what? Mine is actually running out of room. I should have made it a little bit more towards the top, so I'm not even going to use my last piece, but that's okay. Now we're going to do the stump, or the tree trunk. Glue that on our bottom. So there's my tree. Now, some different options to put ornaments on. What you can do is you can take that piece of paper that you have left and then get to pick a color. So I'm going to pick, and sometimes when you're doing colors, you could hold them out in front like this and see which one they're going to reach for. I'm going to reach for the blue. So then you can have a helper, or you can draw a circle. Practice coloring that in. And then we'll cut it out, or have a helper cut it out, because the circle is the hardest thing to cut out. That's harder than the triangle and the square, because you got to keep turning the paper. So there is a blue ornament. I'm going to get some glue, put glue on, and then put it on my tree. If you don't want to work on that, if you had enough with the cutting and gluing, all we're going to do then is we'll pick some colors, either markers or crayons. I'm going to pick some markers, and I'm just going to draw some ornaments on my tree. And they don't have to be circles. I'm just drawing circles, but you could do squares. You could even do like some squiggly lines, like some tinsel. And just go ahead and pick whatever colors you want to put on your tree. A couple more. You can do like I'm doing, or you can make the circle and then try to fill it in. That might be a better way to do it. And you can also, if you have stickers at home, you can put that on here, or glitter, anything at home that you want to put on to make your tree complete. And then another thing, I'm going to draw a star. It's going to be kind of hard to see on this red paper, but I'm drawing a star on the top of my tree. Okay, so there's my Christmas tree. We worked on lots of different skills. So I hope you guys enjoyed this and hope you have a good week. All right, thank you. Bye.